He's bent over the sink, scrubbing potatoes. But not in a kitchen, in a bathroom. And not with filtered water, oh no. He's using toilet water. Literal toilet water. Jenny looks like she's about to throw up. Sumit's face goes pale, then red. He charges in, yelling across the room. His father keeps washing, completely unbothered, like this is totally normal. Jenny covers her mouth and stumbles back, visibly gagging. Sumit shouts again, this time louder. He's not about to let this slide. Not in his cafe. Not where customers are supposed to eat. And that, apparently, is the grand opening prep for Sumit's new family cafe. A place built on hopes, prayers, and apparently zero plumbing. Welcome back to Reality Sport. I'm Oliva. If your idea of farm to table includes bathroom to dinner plate, this one's gonna blow your mind. Subscribe and drop a comment. Would you eat here? Because what starts off looking like a humble dream quickly turns into a public health alert. So how did we get here? The plan was simple. Open a small Indian cafe tailored to students. Something affordable and homemade. Dishes like dal, rice, and potato curry. Comfort food. Sumit wanted to run it with his parents. Jenny, his American wife, saw it as her shot at finally escaping the household she's felt trapped in for years. Their shared goal? Independence. What they got instead? Chaos. From day one, this place seemed cursed. The location is tiny, hot, and has no proper plumbing. Let that sink in. No water supply in a food business. But somehow, nobody thought this through. Jenny didn't ask. Sumit didn't explain. And his parents? They just started doing what everyone around them does, pulling water from the bathroom to clean the food. Nobody blinked an eye until Sumit walked in mid-scrub and realized his entire operation might be a walking E. coli warning. He loses it, starts making demands, tossing out trays of prepped food, steam practically rising from his face. His dad looks hurt. His mom, insulted. But Jenny? She looks numb. Not shocked, not angry, just scared. Not for the food. Not even for her health. For what this means. Because if this is day 0, what's day 1 gonna look like? 24 hours earlier, Jenny was smiling. Genuinely smiling. Not the kind of polite smile she wears during family dinners, or the strained one when Sumit's mom lectures her about the right way to fold a roti. No. This one meant something. Because tomorrow, they were opening their very own business. A family-run cafe that, in Jenny's mind, held one secret promise. Freedom. To everyone else, this was about money. But for Jenny, it was her potential ticket out of Sumit's parents' house. The cramped hallways. The constant surveillance. The feeling of being a guest in her own marriage. If the cafe took off, even a little, it meant she and Sumit could start dreaming about their own place. Just them. Quiet. Peaceful. Private. The fantasy she's been clinging to for years. This wasn't a cafe. This was escape. Sumit, meanwhile, was all business. Hanging signs. Cleaning equipment. Ordering ingredients. But even he had something to prove. He wanted to show everyone, including his skeptical family, that this wasn't some soft dream cooked up over chai. He wanted respect. Leadership. Purpose. Problem is, for a guy who's been a chef, he skipped a pretty crucial detail. He didn't tell Jenny the building he chose doesn't have running water. At all. No kitchen sink. No proper plumbing. In fact, everything about this space says storage closet more than cafe. But Jenny doesn't see it. Not yet. Which is exactly why she picks this moment to announce she'll be taking on the coffee station. Her idea. She wants to help. Even though she's never made espresso in her life. She's thinking Starbucks-level lattes. Maybe cappuccinos. But what's actually sitting on the counter is a semi-industrial grinder and a manual steamer that requires precision, pressure, and muscle memory. Sumit gives her a soft chuckle. Encouraging, not condescending. Probably realizes she's not ready. but lets it slide. Because in his mind, how bad could it get? Meanwhile, Jenny's already daydreaming about their first customer, the tips, the cash drawer filling up, the lease for a new apartment getting closer with every cup of coffee. And not once does she ask where the water will come from. The banner outside flaps weakly in the breeze, barely hanging on to rusty hooks. But still, it's there. Sumit Family Caf in big red letters, proudly pasted above a doorway that leads into a room the size of most American closets. Inside, the new coffee machine hums like a prize. There's a somber pot gently bubbling. The fridge is doing its best. And to someone squinting from the outside, it might even pass as a functional food joint. But glance closer, and it's like walking into a set that still smells of sawdust and false hope. The cups aren't unpacked. The sink doesn't drain properly, because there is no sink. And tucked away in the back? A narrow hallway leading straight to a bathroom that somehow doubles as their prep area. The air is filled with ambition and complete denial. Sumit arrives first, running on urgency and 2 hours of sleep. His mom slicing onions, barefoot on tile. His dad's already moving buckets of water. And guess where it's coming from? That same bathroom. He drags it in, silently, like this is normal. Like this is day one of living the dream. The wild part? When Sumit pushes back, saying this can't possibly be okay, the local vendors nearby all chime in casually. They do the same thing, boil the bathroom water if it looks murky. Add turmeric, garlic, whatever masks the smell. It sounds like a conspiracy of survival. Sumit looks stunned, like he's being initiated into a secret culinary underworld no health inspectors ever dared to document. Meanwhile, Jenny's in the corner, staring hard at the espresso machine like it's a spaceship someone handed her the keys to. She's been watching tutorial videos in 1.5x speed, trying to teach herself how to foam milk and tamp grounds, but she barely understands the knobs. Still, when Sumit asks if she's okay running coffee, she nods fast, faking confidence. This is her one job here, and she's already gripped with panic she doesn't want anyone to see. What she doesn't realize is that pretending to know what she's doing might undo everything before it even begins. Because once real customers start walking in, pressure and espresso have a way of exposing everything. The first test isn't even a real customer. It is family, which somehow makes it worse. Sumit's sister-in-law walks up to the counter, smiles at Jenny, and gently asks for a cappuccino. Simple request, right? Jenny freezes. Her brain starts scrolling through all the YouTube clips she watched the night before. Grind, tamp, lock, brew, steam, pour. It sounded so easy on screen. In person, with everyone's eyes drifting her way, her hands start to shake. She fills the portafilter, but the grind is too fine. Packs it in like she is loading a shotgun. Locks it into place with way too much force. When she hits the button, the machine chokes, spits, and then gives a tiny sad drizzle of espresso that looks weak and bitter at the same time. She forces a smile, pretends this is what it is supposed to look like, and reaches for the milk. The steaming wand hisses. The sound alone makes her jump. She plunges the tip too deep, heating the milk without adding air. No foam. No microfoam. Nothing. Just hot milk and embarrassment. By now, a small crowd of relatives has gathered, watching quietly. Sumit's mom looks confused. His dad looks unimpressed. And Jenny's cheeks go pink as she pours a flat, lukewarm drink that no one in Seattle would accept even for free. She slides the cup forward anyway. Acts like this is fine. Like this is how they do it here. Her sister-in-law takes a polite sip, gives a hesitant nod, and lies with her eyes. Jenny clocks it. She knows when someone is pretending. That tiny moment dents her confidence more than any YouTube criticism ever could. While she is battling the coffee machine, Sumit is in the back, trying to keep up with a completely different kind of chaos. He sees his mom handling cooked food with the same hands she used to wipe down a counter. no soap, no towel. His dad stacks raw potatoes on top of a surface that already has chopped herbs sitting on it. To them, this is efficient. To Sumit, trained as a chef, it is a minefield of cross-contamination. He calls out small corrections at first. Please wash that again. Use a clean plate. Don't mix those tongs. Each time he speaks, his mother's face tightens a little more. His dad's responses get shorter. One-word answers. A small storm is brewing in the back, while Jenny's self-esteem is collapsing in the front. Sumit tries to split himself in two. Support Jenny, keep the kitchen from turning into a hygiene horror show, and still project confidence for the family that gave him money and trust to make this project work. But more and more, it feels like everyone is doing their own version of the plan. His parents rely on old habits, Jenny is drowning in new equipment, and he is stuck in the middle of a dream that is starting to feel less like leadership and more like babysitting. Quietly, a question starts to form in his head that he does not dare say out loud yet. Who is actually running this place? The priest walks in like a switch, flipping the whole energy of the room. 1 second, everyone is rushing around, stressed, sweating, snapping at each other. The next second, they freeze, straighten up, and rearrange their faces into respect. Sumit steps forward, hands together, eyes lowered. His mom looks relieved. Like now, finally, someone with real power has entered. Not a customer, not a supplier, something higher. Jenny stands off to the side, watching quietly. She has seen pujas before. She has sat on the floor, repeated the mantras as best she can, burned her fingers on incense, and tried to participate even when she did not fully understand. But today, she is not in a living room. She is in a kitchen, in a calf she is hoping will be their way out. And what happens next hits her harder than usual. The priest starts the blessing. Incense, flowers, rice, chants filling the air, echoing slightly off the mismatched tiles and metal shelves. Sumit and his parents bow their heads. A small copper container is brought out, filled with a liquid mix they treat with deep reverence. It is a blend of holy water and cow urine, something that in their faith is considered purifying, sacred, protective. The priest dips a bundle of leaves into the mixture and begins sprinkling it, rhythmically, with intention. On the walls, over the counters, across the doorframe, onto the stove, onto the food, onto the equipment. Drops land on the coffee machine Jenny was scared to touch, on the cups she is supposed to hand to customers. One stray splash hits her arm. She flinches for half a second, then forces herself still. Her face stays neutral. Her mouth says nothing, but her eyes give her away. There is a flicker of panic there. Not because she wants to be disrespectful. Not because she does not care about Sumit's culture. She has tried, over and over, to adapt, to accept, to bend. But her brain is also screaming, we are in a kitchen. This is supposed to be hygienic. I am supposed to serve people from here. How do I reconcile holy in one context and gross in another? She thinks of viewers back home, American friends, her own daughters. She imagines trying to explain this scene to them. Holy cow urine sprinkled over food prep surfaces in a brand new calf that already has no running water and water buckets from the bathroom. On camera, she holds it together. Inside, it feels like something is starting to crack. Sumit, on the other hand, looks genuinely moved. He explains to the producers how auspicious the timing is, how the stars and planets are aligned, how this blessing will give their business extra protection and fortune. His parents' faces soften with hope, while the priest chants louder. For them, this is comfort. It is a reset button. A way to clean what scrubbing never will. Jenny keeps her thoughts to herself. She does not roll her eyes. She does not walk out. She does what she always does in these moments. She stays. She swallows her discomfort. She tells herself, again, this is his culture, not her country. And she will not be the disrespectful foreigner who turns a religious ceremony into an argument. But the contradiction is getting louder in her head. She watched yesterday's food go in the trash because of bathroom water. She knows the calf has zero real plumbing. And now she is watching a liquid she cannot get past, on a hygiene level, being tossed like confetti in the one place that is supposed to look safe enough to eat in. Her silence is not agreement anymore. It is survival. She wants out of this house, out of this dependency, and this calf feels like her last big gamble. So she tells herself to keep it together. Smile. Nod. Play along. One more time. What she has not realized yet is how many more times she will be expected to swallow her instincts before something inside her refuses to cooperate. The fight does not start with shouting. It starts with a smell. Sumit walks into the narrow back area and catches a faint whiff near the stove that makes his stomach tighten. Not spoiled food, not gas. That same faint bathroom scent he noticed yesterday. He follows it like a trail, past the piles of potatoes and chopped vegetables, until he finds the source. A large bucket of water sitting on the floor, half full, cloudy around the edges. His dad is standing next to it, washing another batch of potatoes. Same motion, same rhythm, same total lack of concern. To his father, this is practical. Water is water. Boiling will fix everything. They have done this for years, in homes and restaurants that never had the luxury of a separate prep sink and filtered taps. For Sumit, all his training, all his ideas about how this place should run, snap into sharp focus. He asks tightly where the water came from. His dad shrugs and nods toward the bathroom. Same place as before. The casualness of it hits Sumit harder than the smell. He hears his own voice coming out louder than he means it to. Not again. We cannot do this. This is not safe. His dad straightens, eyes narrowing. The subtext is loud. You knew this place had no water. You brought us here. You are the one chasing this dream. And now you want to humiliate me over how I am trying to make it work? Sumit does not soften. He doubles down, tells him they cannot serve food washed in bathroom water, tells him they will get people sick, ruin the calf before it starts, embarrass the whole family. His dad's face hardens. That word, embarrass, lands like a slap. His mom looks over from the stove, sensing where this is going. When Sumit insists the already prepped potatoes, veggies, and dishes, touched by that water, all have to go, his mom's face falls. She has been cooking for hours in this cramped kitchen, bending over hot burners, juggling multiple pans in a space barely big enough for one person. To her, this is not contaminated food. This is effort, love, contribution. Hearing him say it all needs to be thrown out feels like he is tossing her work into the trash, and with it, her dignity. Still, he stands firm. He starts pulling trays off the counter, scraping food straight into garbage bags. His mom rushes forward, trying to stop him, asking why he is overreacting when every other spot in the market does the same thing. He does not care. He cannot bend on this. Not when his name is on the sign outside. His dad takes this as a final insult. In front of cameras, in front of Jenny, in front of the crew, his own son is calling his methods dirty, his judgment bad. Without another word, he drops the next potato into the bucket, wipes his hands on his kurta, and walks out of the kitchen, shoulders stiff. Jenny watches from the doorway, hands twisted in front of her. She understands Sumit's point. She would never eat anywhere near bathroom water in the States. But she also sees his mom's eyes filling, her lips pressed tight as tray after tray disappears into plastic bags. All that work, gone. All that hope for the soft opening, evaporated in a few angry minutes. By the time the argument goes quiet, the counters are bare. The stove is mostly off. The air feels heavy. Sumit looks around at the near-empty kitchen and the angry silence of his parents and realizes what he has done strategically. He has drawn a hard line on hygiene. He has also erased half their inventory a day before launch. They do not have extra money to replace everything. They do not have backup staff or a second kitchen or time to redo full prep from scratch. And yet, tomorrow, the blessing ceremony is supposed to bring in a crowd expecting food. They lock the shutters that night with nothing cooked, tensions high, and one question none of them want to say out loud. With no food ready and no plan B, are they even going to be able to open those doors tomorrow? The next morning, nobody wakes up refreshed. They wake up because they have no choice. Dark circles, stiff backs, swollen eyes from crying or trying not to. Sumit drags himself out of bed first, mentally replaying the scene from last night on a loop. Potatoes, trash bags, his dad's silent exit, his mom's face, the empty counters. Today is blessing day. The market expects food. The priest expects a functioning business to bless. Failure is not supposed to be part of the script. Jenny sits on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. She is tired in a way that sleep does not fix. Physically, sure, she is exhausted, but emotionally, it is deeper. Every fight in this family sticks to her like dust. She does not only watch the conflict, she absorbs it, then adds it to an already long list of unresolved fears. How long can they live like this? How long can she stay here and call this a life? Still, she knows what today means to them, to Sumit, to his parents. So, she gets up, puts on her clothes, pulls her hair back, and follows them to the cafe. When they roll up the shutters, the inside looks about how they left it. Half ready, half wrecked. The sign is still up. The coffee machine still shines under a light layer of dust. But the energy is hollow. Sumit knows there is no time to wallow. He grabs a large container of filtered water he arranged that morning. Heavy, awkward, precious. It is not nearly enough for full operations, but it is better than bathroom buckets. His mom arrives quieter than usual. No small talk, no humming as she preps. She starts working again, automatically chopping, rinsing, mixing, but there is a stiffness in her shoulders. She is doing the work, but the joy has drained out of it. His dad stays mostly outside for a while, hovering near the door, checking on market activity instead of joining the kitchen right away. Jenny heads straight to the coffee station. She knows she failed the first test. The memory of that sad cappuccino still burns. Today, she tells herself, will be different. She watches as Sumit's sister-in-law patiently goes over the machine again, where to tamp, how firm, how long the shot should run, how the milk should sound when steaming. Jenny nods along, but the more instructions come, the more overwhelmed she feels. There is a limit to how much new information she can fully absorb under pressure at her age, especially in a foreign environment with cameras rolling. When she tries a practice run, she improves a little. The shot is less watery, more golden. The milk has a few bubbles. It is not coffee shop quality, but it is drinkable. Her hands still shake though, and she overcompensates by talking less, focusing on not messing up. For someone who already feels judged in that family kitchen, every mistake feels like proof she does not belong. Outside, the street begins to fill. Neighbors, nearby vendors, curious passers-by. They all know a new cafe has opened, and the word prasad and free food travel faster than any Instagram ad. This blessing day is not just spiritual, it is social. People are nosy. They want to see what Sumit has built. They want to taste. They want to gossip later. Sumit switches into host mode. He greets people, bows his head, smiles, explains that today they are doing a special puja for the cafe and offering food as part of the ceremony. His pitch is simple. Try our food today. Come back tomorrow to support us properly. Inside, his mom is working faster now, almost on autopilot, stirring dal, seasoning curries, plating small portions that grow larger and larger as more faces press toward the counter. Jenny can feel the smell of spices filling the space, wrapping around the bitter aroma of coffee and the faint stress sweat everyone is trying to ignore. People start lining up. Plates start going out. For a few magical moments, the stress fades behind activity. There are compliments on the taste, nods of approval, soft murmurs of acha hai and bahut tasty. For a woman like Sumit's mom, who has poured years of identity into feeding her family, this is oxygen. You can see her shoulders relax, her face brighten a little. The validation matters, even if it comes after a painful night. Jenny watches, half proud and half uneasy. She knows how hard everyone worked. She knows how much Sumit needs a win. She knows how badly she wants this place to succeed, so they can move out and reclaim their marriage. But as plate after plate leaves the counter, one detail gnaws at her. No one is paying. No cash drawer opening and closing. No small stack of bills on the side. No tips. Nothing. The food is flowing. The money is not. If you were standing in that cramped doorway, smelling all that food and watching no cash exchange hands, what would be going through your mind right now? For Sumit, this is strategy. In his head, free food today means paid food tomorrow. Word of mouth is their only marketing. They do not have a website, a big social following, or glossy flyers. They have spices, effort, and hungry neighbors. So he tells himself this is a smart sacrifice, a short-term loss for long-term gain. For Jenny, the math feels brutal. She does not see marketing. She sees rent. She sees electric bills. She sees her retirement checks already stretched thin from supporting this move, this marriage, this life. Every plate she sees walk out the door untouched by money feels like her future slipping further out of reach. She tries, at first, to reframe it. This is cultural. This is how it works here. Blessing days are different. Giving is part of receiving. But the longer she stands there, the more she watches stacks of bread, piles of rice, bowls of dal disappear into grateful hands with no payment, the harder it becomes to quiet that frightened voice in her head. Her inner monologue is harsher than anything she says out loud. How are we going to afford our own place if we are feeding half the market for free? How long before I am stuck forever in that house, listening to doors slam and pots rattle while everyone pretends everything is fine? How many times will I be told to just have faith while the numbers refuse to add up? Sumit's sister-in-law tries to reassure her, saying in her gentle way that this is good promotion. People will remember the taste. They will come back. Jenny nods. But her eyes are on the trays, not on the promises. She sees quantity, not potential. Hours of prep. Kilos of ingredients. All vanishing into a crowd that might never return as paying customers. Back at the coffee machine, she forces herself to keep making drinks. Some are burnt. Some are too weak. Some are lukewarm because she misjudges the sequence. Her confidence dips every time someone hesitates before sipping. She reads every micro-expression on their faces. Did they like it? Are they disgusted? Will they tell people the coffee is bad and skip the caf entirely? It does not help that coffee is one of the few items that could bring real profit if done right. It is their unique selling point in that area, the one thing Sumit bragged about. Everyone else uses instant. They have a real machine. And the one person in charge of that feature feels like she is failing at it in real time. As the afternoon rolls on, the courtyard outside the caf starts to look like a community event. People are chatting, laughing, eating. Some offer quick blessings. Some pat Sumit's back. Everyone seems content. Everyone except the woman in the back of the room, watching every plate like she is watching her future being loaded onto a conveyor belt. Jenny goes quieter and quieter. Her face loses animation. She is not complaining. She is not picking fights. She is not making snide remarks. It is worse. She is staring, silent, distant. somewhere between panic and resignation. She hears Sumit say things like, "This is good for us, and from tomorrow, they will all become our customers." She hears his parents repeating hopeful phrases about God's grace and new beginnings. It all floats around her like background noise. Inside, she is doing a different calculation. No profit today. No clear plan for tomorrow. No guarantee customers will come back. No timeline for moving out. The cafe is open. The blessing is done. And yet, that door she thought might lead to freedom still feels locked. She watches another overloaded plate leave the counter, food spilling over the sides, carried away by hands that will not reach for a wallet. Her eyes follow it until it disappears into the growing crowd. Then she looks back at the nearly empty trays and does not say a single word. At first, Jenny thinks she must have missed it. Maybe the money exchange is happening somewhere off to the side. Maybe people are handing cash to Sumit's dad or slipping notes into a box near the door. She scans the room, looking for any sign of a transaction. Nothing. No rustle of notes, no clink of coins, no one reaching into a pocket for anything except their phones to take pictures. The longer she watches, the more her chest tightens. She leans towards Sumit and asks quietly, "Is anyone paying?" He barely looks rattled. He tells her, this is intentional. It is a free day, a promotion. Today, they focus on feeding and blessing. Tomorrow, they focus on money. To him, this is smart. To her, it feels like standing on a bridge with no railings. Her mind does not go to faith or planets or auspicious timing. It goes to numbers. Rent. Electricity. Groceries. The cost of beans for that coffee machine she is still wrestling with. The loan or savings used to open this place. She thinks of her own bank account, already drained over years of visas, flights, delays, and compromises. She wonders how many more months she can support herself if this business does not start bringing in actual income. She tries to ask again, a bit more tense this time, how long they plan on doing this free thing. Sumit brushes it off, tells her she worries too much, says people will come back, that this is how businesses build trust in the community. She swallows her frustration, but it tastes bitter. Trust does not pay deposits. Respect does not pay first and last month's rent on a separate apartment. In that moment, the calf stops looking like a ladder out of her situation and starts looking like another version of it. Dependent on other people's choices. Dependent on beliefs she does not share. Dependent on promises of soon that never come with a date. She watches one more stack of plates leave the counter, free of charge, and the question crashes into her mind like cold water. Are they building a business here, or are they already trapped in a beautiful-looking failure? The morning after the blessing feels brutally quiet. No priest, no crowd, no incense, no chanting, just the dry scrape of the shutter rolling up and a hollow echo inside the calf. Yesterday, the space felt too small for all the people packing in for free plates. Today, it feels bigger than ever, like the walls pulled back overnight. Sumit walks in with forced optimism. He wipes down already clean counters, adjusts the same menu board, straightens the same chairs they barely had space to put out. He keeps telling himself that this is normal. First day after a promotion is always slower. Word needs time to spread. People will come. They liked the food. They praised his mom's cooking. They nodded and smiled and said they would return. They said a lot of things. Jenny sits behind the counter, hands wrapped around an empty cup, staring at the door like she can will a customer into existence. She hears every footstep outside, every bike, every scooter, every snippet of conversation drifting by. The market itself is not dead. Other stalls are busy. People are buying vegetables, snacks, tea. They glance over at the new calf, read the sign, and keep walking. Each time someone slows down, her heart jumps. This one might come in. Then they move on, and her hope drops right back down. The coffee machine is silent. The pots are warm but still. Trays are ready, but no orders come. An hour crawls by. Then, too, Sumit's parents sit at a side table, pretending not to notice the emptiness, making small talk to cover the tension. His mom says maybe people are shy at first. His dad suggests they should go outside and call people in. Sumit says he wants them to come naturally. He does not want to beg. He wants the calf to grow on reputation, not pressure. For Jenny, that sounds nice in theory and terrifying in practice. Reputation does not build itself. It needs repetition. It needs paying customers telling their friends this place is worth money, not just worth a free meal. She thinks back to every plate that went out yesterday, every happy face, every satisfied sigh. And now, not one of those people is here to support them with even a small order. No one is buying a chai. No one is testing her coffee at full price. No one is ordering a simple dal and rice on their way to work. The more empty chairs she sees, the louder her doubts get. Did they only come for the free food? Did they say we'll come back out of politeness, the same way people tell street vendors maybe later and never look back? Is this place already written off in people's minds as a one-day event instead of a real option? Her throat feels tight. She has spent years taking one emotional risk after another to be here. She left her country, her comfort zone, her grandkids. She fought to marry this man against his family's wishes. She stayed when everyone told her to go home and never look back. And now, the one thing she pinned her future on, this calf, is sitting in front of her like a stalled car that refuses to start. At some point, when the silence stretches too far, she stands up from her stool and walks over to where Sumit is wiping the same spotless corner of the counter. He looks up at her with a smile that is more effort than ease. She studies his face for a long second, the hope in his eyes, the stubbornness, the belief that this is just a slow morning and not a bad sign. For once, she does not cushion her thoughts. She does not swallow them or bend them or translate them into something softer. She takes a breath and, in a tone that is calm but heavy, says something that cuts straight through the fragile optimism hanging in the room. What if this was a mistake? The moment those words leave her mouth, the air in the calf shifts. Sumit freezes, cloth in hand, halfway through another pointless wipe of an already clean surface. He looks at her like he did not hear her correctly. Mistake? After everything they have put into this? After the fights, the blessings, the shame of throwing food away, the free feast they tried to spin as marketing? He asks her what she means, and she does not backpedal. She is tired of softening her thoughts to protect everyone else's feelings while her own sit on the back burner. She tells him, quietly, but clearly, that she is scared this calf will not save them. That instead of being their door out of his parents' house, it might lock them in even deeper. More responsibility, more stress, more debt, same walls. As she speaks, the scenes replay in her head like a highlight reel in reverse. The day Sumit first told her about the calf idea, and her heart lifted, picturing a little place they could run together. The tour of the tiny, half-finished room that she squinted at, trying to see potential instead of problems. The excitement in his voice when he mentioned being the only spot in the area with a real coffee machine. Then, the cracks. Learning there was no running water, but only after plans were already in motion. Watching bathroom buckets roll through the kitchen like they belonged there. Standing stiff while cow urine was sprinkled over the same surfaces where she was expected to prep food. Seeing her mother-in-law's labor literally bagged and tossed, along with hours of ingredients and care. Handing out plate after plate of free food, hearing compliments with no cash behind them. None of that looked like independence. All of it felt like a new version of the same pattern she has lived since moving to India. She goes along. She adjusts. She swallows her discomfort in the name of love, compromise, and culture. Then she pays the emotional cost when things go sideways. Sumit hears her fears, but also hears something else underneath. A question she is almost afraid to say out loud. Did she uproot her entire life to end up stuck in another situation she cannot control? Another space where she depends on his choices, his timing, his beliefs, and his insistence that things will work out while the evidence in front of her says otherwise? He tells her to have patience, that businesses take time, that one quiet morning does not mean failure, that they are blessed, that his mom's cooking is good enough to build repeat customers, that the astrology is on their side. To him, doubt feels like disloyalty, like trashing the dream before it has had a chance to breathe. To her, doubt feels like self-protection, the one tool she has left to keep from falling apart completely when her expectations once again start drifting away from reality. She looks around the cafe, really looks. The chipped tiles, the clunky equipment, the coffee machine that still intimidates her, the tiny space where she is supposed to perform as if she is comfortable and capable, while every part of her feels out of place. She thinks of the joint family house, waiting for them at the end of the day. The shared kitchen, the shared bathroom, the lack of privacy, the old resentments trapped in those walls. If the cafe fails, that house is not a temporary situation anymore. It becomes permanent. This business was not just about money for her. It was hope, with a signboard on it. And now, sitting in the quiet of a grand opening day with no paying customers, that hope feels thin. She does not scream. She does not storm out. She does not deliver some dramatic ultimatum. Instead, she asks the question that haunts a lot of people who stay in hard relationships longer than outsiders think they should. What if I am wrong again? Wrong about this plan. Wrong about this move. Wrong about how much I could change, or blend in, or sacrifice, and still feel like myself. Her eyes land on Sumit, who still looks determined, still clinging to his belief that this is temporary struggle on the way to success. Jenny wonders if they are even looking at the same cafe, the same life, the same future. There is a silent fork in the road hanging in that tiny room. Either this messy little cafe somehow becomes the lifeline she prayed for, or it turns into another anchor tying her to a life that exhausts her more than it fulfills her. And as she sits there, torn between her love for him and her fear for herself, one thought slips in that she does not say yet, but you can feel forming behind her eyes. If this cafe does not change things, what will? Because if you think this toilet water and free food saga is wild, wait until you see what happens when 90-day couples mix business, family, and desperation again in their next bright idea.